Hi guys, so a few days ago I posted a video to my channel about how I am pretty much at my starting weight that I was at several years ago when I started a weight loss journey, lost 60 pounds pretty much with a starch solution, and essentially I am back to that starting weight of 182 pounds. This time I am taking a different approach to weight loss, a more holistic approach, if you will. And I just want to talk about kind of what I did before to lose weight and how I'm doing things differently this time. So if you go back into my YouTube videos from several years ago, I very quickly and very easily lost 60 pounds. I was very strict on the starch solution during that time, and I only focused on what I ate. Again, I was very strict. If I had a sweet treat, it was a homemade, like no oil, very low fat kind of sweet treat. I didn't really allow myself much wiggle room in that area. And the other thing that I did back then was I did not focus on my physical fitness or my nervous system or anything like that. I didn't focus on my relationship with food, none of that. And I think that all of that combined with stress and stress eating and, you know, all of the life events happening, that's how I ended up back in the situation that I am now, where I'm back to my starting weight. So I'm doing things very differently this time, and one of the major things that I'm focusing on is my nervous system and trying to keep myself regulated. And that is a lot harder than it sounds, especially as someone who's neurodivergent with a neurodivergent child who works primarily with neurodivergent children all day. That can be really difficult. So one of the tools that I'm using to not only help manage my nervous system, it has a primary benefit of keeping my migraines at bay, which mine are very heavily related and triggered by my nervous system. So I'm using what's called a vagus nerve stimulator. The one that I have is called Truvaga. I got that one because it is made by the same company that makes GammaCore, which is specifically for migraines. The version that I have is a wellness version, and so it doesn't have clinical trials to back it up, but I can say that it definitely makes a difference with my migraines, which makes a difference with how I'm feeling and my ability to want to exercise, be active, eat well, take care of myself. So first things first, that is what I am being very consistent with every single day, twice a day. If I'm not feeling super good, I will add that in an additional time. And I have a whole other video that I'll link where I talk about Truvaga and like what it is and how it's helped me. But yeah, so starting with my nervous system has been really helpful just in making myself feel better, because I'm definitely finding that just in recent times, I just don't feel good at all. And so that makes it really difficult for me to want to eat well, take care of myself, and all of that. So another thing that I am making sure that I get in almost every single day, there are days where I don't do it, but I am using a vibration platform. I will link the one that I have down in the description box. I got it off of Amazon, but as a physical therapist, I use vibration platforms all the time in my clinic, and we use it for a variety of things. The thing that I have found it really good for is inflammation and just like general edema and swelling. And I am very sensitive to different foods, and if I am, you know, not taking care of myself the way that I should, I will eat foods that are more inflammatory or foods that my body doesn't like very well. Like if I decide that I'm gonna have something with gluten in it or something with a lot of soy in it, then I will wake up the following day pretty swollen, pretty inflamed, my joints hurt. And so one thing that I kind of want to use a vibration platform for is for lymphatic drainage and just making sure all of that is moving. And I definitely feel a difference when I do use it versus when I don't use it. And the other quick thing that I want to say about vibration plates or vibration platforms, because I feel like they're all over the internet and not all of them are created equally. It's super important to make sure that you get one that's high quality, that uses the correct frequency. So the frequency that's ideal for lymphatic drainage is between 12 and 14 hertz. And some of them, it won't even tell you like how high they go up to, or if it does, a lot of them that only go to like 8 or 9, which is great for balance or maybe a little strengthening, but it's not going to give you the desired effect for lymphatic drainage unless it's at least to 12. So the one that I have, the highest that it goes is to 12, and so I just turn it all the way up to level 99, and that is the equivalent to 12 hertz. So anyways, first thing, nervous system. Second thing, vibration platform. The third thing that I am doing differently this time is trying to get in more intentional movement and just stay moving throughout the day. So in my typical day job, I am like on and off the floor, on a rolly stool, but I don't get a whole lot of intentional movement past that. Like I don't go on walks when I have a break. Typically because I don't have a lot of breaks, but when I do, I'm like trying to get paperwork done, so I'm not trying to go for a walk. But I've been more intentional about taking 5 or 10 minutes and going and doing a couple laps, just to try to be moving a little bit more. I am trying to get more structured exercise in, but I'm taking it really, really slowly. In one of my other videos where I talk about getting off of propranolol for my migraines, that medication really did a number on my exercise tolerance in general. And so when I was on that, I would be getting sore for like 5 to 7 days afterwards, which is not typical. And I still feel like I get pretty sore and it lasts a little bit longer than it probably should. But you know, that's where the vibration platform can help as well, is kind of working that soreness out. But all that to say is I'm being more intentional with getting walks in, and I'm slowly building my way up to more intense exercise. I've also been doing some deep core work because I've noticed that my posture is kind of off. I've had some back pain here and there that I'm working through, and so I'm really just trying to get those deep core muscles turned back on, because right now I am carrying a little more weight in my belly region, and that it just adds more pull forward, and so my muscles are having to work a lot harder and a lot, I guess, in like a different direction than they typically would. And so I'm really trying to get them to activate, turn back on, be strong enough to handle the weight that I'm at now, and to just keep building that strength as I lose weight. Because again, when I lost 60 pounds the first time, I was not worried about strength training, aerobic training, core work. I wasn't doing any of that, and I'm really kicking myself for it now, because I can tell that I'm not getting any younger and things are becoming harder. My back is hurting more doing more simple things, and so it's really important for me this time around to prioritize not only my weight, but also how fit and physically active I am. So the fourth And the last thing that I'm doing differently this time is that I'm focusing on my relationship with food and trying to avoid as much as possible getting back into the habit of binge eating, because I definitely have a history of doing that. And I feel like I go either like all one direction or all the other, like I'm eating all of the things or I'm eating absolutely nothing. Like there's no middle ground. And so I'm trying to find the middle ground of more intentional eating and intuitive eating. So making myself a plate, eating that plate slowly, and then deciding if I'm still hungry or not. Because in the past, even if I wasn't like in a binging kind of situation, which typically I was binging on things that were high sugar, high salt, high fat, I would definitely have a tendency to overeat. So I would make something that I really like for dinner, like I'm a simple person, so like tater tot casserole or spaghetti or Alfredo or whatever. And I would get like a huge portion, eat it super fast, and then get more and then eat that super fast. I definitely was overeating and feeling really terrible afterwards. So again, I'm trying to be more intentional and intuitive with what I'm eating so that I don't end up in a binge situation, and so that I lessen the amount that I was overeating, because it is really, really easy for me to overeat the things that I like. So anyways, those are the 4 things that I'm doing differently this go around. So if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. Or if there's anything that I didn't list that I should look into, leave that down below too. I'm open for all suggestions. And if this video was helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.